Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this tutorial, I'll be demonstrating how to create this ganache cheesecake with a marbled white chocolate ganache finish. To create your cheesecake, you're going to need crushed cookies. I've used Oreo cookies with a few tablespoons of butter, stirring that through until they get a nice sandy texture. It's enough that it clumps in your hands comfortably, but there's not too much butter, so it's not too wet, and that's why I'm adding maybe about a tablespoon or so at a time, just that I don't overdo it. Once it sticks together like so, you can pop it aside. In the meantime, oil down your cake tin. I've used a little bit of butter, and that's just there to stick our baking paper on top. So fold a triangle onto a baking paper, and then just keep folding that triangle on and on and on until you get like a paper plane looking contraption. Let the point stick in the very middle of your tin and then cut it off at the edge. When you unfold it, it'll be the whole diameter of your tin. Place some panels along the side, and this just makes sure that our cheesecake comes out really easily. Dip in all of your cookies with the butter and compress them. Press them right down the bottom, make them nice and firm so it won't break apart. You can use a spoon to make it a little bit neater and just press it more firmly. Pop it into the fridge to set in the meantime, and we'll create our cheesecake. So I have Philadelphia cream cheese. All the ingredient amounts will be listed in the description box below. I'm creaming it till it's nice and soft, and then popping in some caster sugar or superfine sugar. Beat that until it's combined, maybe for a minute or so, and then gently add in your eggs. I'm adding in my eggs one at a time. And it's important to make sure that each egg is fully incorporated and you can't see any residue of egg before you add in the next one. To make our cheesecake nice and creamy and light, I'm adding in some sour cream. You could add in some mascarpone cheese as well. And then for the flavor, adding in some crushed Oreos that I reserved. Let that blend through for a minute or so, and once it's fully incorporated, you can pop it into your cake tin. Give it a bit of a shake to allow your cheesecake to settle so it's nice and flat. Into the oven she goes, preheated at 180 degrees Celsius. My cheesecake baked for about 50 minutes, and then I let it sit in a turned off oven for another 15 or so before I took it out and let it set at room temperature. Let it sit in the fridge overnight once it's nice and cool, and then trim off the top edge because it's usually going to have a little bit of a dip. You want that to be nice and even. Onto an acrylic disc, I'm adding on a cake board the same size as my cheesecake. This will make it a lot easier for us later to drip the ganache over the top. Release your cake from the cake tin and place it onto that cake board with a little bit of frosting to stick it on. To make sure that it's nice and set on there, I'm going to pop it into the freezer for at least 15 minutes, and then I'll go in with my regular hybrid buttercream. I'm going to treat this like a regular cake, so this is like a crumb coat, and then I'm going to add on the second layer of frosting so it's nice and white. If it's going to be nice and white, nice and neat, and you can't really see too much dark of the cake coming through, it means your ganache finish is going to be much cleaner as well. Clean up the sides and that top of the cake, bringing that lip of frosting into the center, and then into the fridge she goes to set completely. Your ganache is going to go on a little bit warm. That's why you want your cake to be a little bit colder than usual. So even for half an hour will do actually in the fridge. To make your chocolate ganache, you need some white chocolate buttons. I use Nestle. And add in your cream. The recipe will be in the description box below. Pop it into the microwave at 30-second bursts until it's nice and melted. Here I've added in white icing by Wilton. This is a gel food color that doesn't react badly with ganache, and it makes a really great base to make sure it's nice and opaque. Add in your selected gel colors. I've used pink and a turquoise. Combine all three colors into a pouring cup. Grab your cake and release it from the cake board, release it from the acrylic disc with a spatula so the cake board is still underneath this cake. Place it on a cup or something much smaller than your cake board and it's elevated from the table, and drizzle your drip all over the top. You can't see it here, but my cake is actually sitting also on a baking tray, and that's catching all of the drip so it doesn't go directly onto your countertop. Let it drip over the edges for a little bit, give it a bit of a shake to help that to fall down. And once it's set or semi-set for about maybe 15 minutes at room temperature, you can start adding on your decorations. If you add your decorations on too quickly, it's going to keep dripping and those decorations are going to end up on the side of the cake because it'll just pull off. So make sure that it's set a little bit. I've decorated with edible druggies and some crushed pink meringue. And now that it's been at least 20 minutes or so, my ganache is starting to set. I'm going to trim off the very bottom edge. You can place it into the fridge to set completely if you like. I just grabbed it and stuck it onto a display cake board with some frosting to stick it on. Here I've gone in with a 32 tip, little star tip to decorate the sides and to hide my seams. You can add on your little plaque on top if you have one. And that is how you make the Oreo cheesecake. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and give it a go. Try out all the cool different colors, maybe add in some dusts. That'd be kind of cool as well. And this is for my sister. So now we're just cutting the cake and I thought I'd show you the inside. It was very delicious and smooth. Hashtag Rosie's Dessert Spot on Instagram if you recreate this so we can see it as well. Thank you guys again for being here today, and I'll catch you guys next time for our next cake decorating tutorial on Tuesday. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. We upload a new cake decorating video every week.